I'm just absolutely freaking beside myself. Holy crap! My God! All right, guys, Anthony here, Super Service. Frank's truck, South Dakota, 2006, 218,000. This looks like the only one is cylinder 2 glow plug. Nope. Shut off compensation. Whoa, 3's overfueling. 2 and 3. Oh, look at 4, 5, and 6 are dropping. 4. Oh God, it's getting rough. It's getting rough. Okay, this fuel pressure test. It does have gold coolant in here, but he does a drain and fill every year. As long as you drain it and fill it every single year, generally an oil cooler will be healthy. Now the red coolant is actually more resilient. I mean, every 3 year, I mean, honestly, what I push is every 100,000 miles. It does have a new engine harness on it, but here's a big kicker right here. Check this out, guys. They spent $700 on an engine harness. They cut the existing main engine harness and spliced them together so they didn't have to take the compressor off. Darian said he looked it up. It's called D-Tech. It's got one injector replaced. The rest of them appear to be factory installed. But it's studded. I mean, you ought to just pony up and send him another new harness. That's a dealership style deal right there. That was about 2 years ago, and I'm not sure the whole story of what the truck was happening right now with it, but who knows? Injector, I don't know. We're going to replace rod bushings? Well, it depends. We can measure them. You tell me.
Wait and see.
Getting too bad at mileage. We are in the hole though. Pulling a 26-foot tilt trailer. Okay, so we're here with Frank.
Yo.
We're in South Dakota. We're picking the truck up. Actually, we're not even at the truck yet. Not sure exactly what we're going to do with fuel injectors, but we're pretty much going to take about every nut and bolt off of it, aren't we?
Yeah.
I mean, we're just going to nut and bolt it.
Yeah,
just if it's got a nut or a bolt, get it out. I mean, like, I got my nephew's truck back. We got a wash.
All right, let's
Here
see.
we go. 240,000 miles. Let's go. Ready?
That's a bummer. Anthony's like, I can't see the side of the garage. All right, let's go get it on the trailer.
Hey, go take me on the center.
Okay.
We're fighting the mean wind. We got Frank's Super Duty on the back. First Super Duty ever hauled by the Volvo. I think this is a 70-mile-an-hour truck. We made it. Actually, I can't even see the truck back there. All right, you can react with me if the truck is not there. Oh. Holy crap, what the hell do we do? Guys, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Sleep fast. 10:30 in the morning, so we slept for a couple hours. This is the list of stuff to do. I'll look down it later. You guys can scroll through here and look. Fixed door. On the ground. Nice and close over here. Just let her roll down. All right, guys, it's Anthony here, Super Duty Service. I got Frank's truck here. Let's get some screens set up. Okay, we did put an engine harness in this truck. This does have brand new batteries in it. Number 4 is plus 12. Extremely overfueling. The other ones are low. We don't know what to say about the other ones. When you've got one that's that bad at number 4, showing plus 12. I mean, this truck, I don't think it has blown head gaskets. I think we're looking at a cracked tip. She's a little cloudy. She's a little smoky. I think we need to get the number 4 injector out. Here's the safe places you can step. You can put your foot right here. You can go right there, just like that. And then lightly grab this to pull yourself up. And then put your knee right here. And then put your other knee right here. Do that when you're climbing up here to pull your number 4 injector wire off, will you? That way you're not leaning on the radiator and damaging crap and tearing your rubber up. Okay, so I might have showed you that, but I also have this is a new engine harness and everything is all settled in there, and I'm not going to cobble that and take it apart. We'll go ahead and get it inside where I can be on the creeper and maybe take some stuff apart today. Yeah, because I'm outside just taking a quick look at it before we pull it in. Very, very unhappy. Let's get her in. Oh, okay. This is a studded truck. It already has our intake on it, has our Y-pipe, new engine harness, and we put injectors in it 2 years ago. And they're just past 2 years. And there was an incident with bad fuel that it gelled up. And so now we've got a potentially cracked injector. I really do think that there is no base engine damage from the cracked injector yet. I mean, there is nothing worse in the entire freaking world than putting a truck back together and we decided to try to reuse injectors and I have to go back in and tear that sumbitch apart. That makes me so freaking irate. This had injectors put in it, because now they've got to let air pass through them. The first fire up after an install is very, very taxing on an injector. Plunger does a couple of hits inside the nozzle. Very, very easy to damage injectors. When we get done with it and it's all dollied up and all good, I put it together cab off with as much care as I can and go through everything. It is not something that I want to go back and address a freaking injector. I just don't want. That's just not. It's just pain in the freaking butt. It's a very good way to sour taste the positiveness of a fresh fire up. Yeah, rewind that and listen to that again. It's a very good way to sour taste the positiveness of a fresh fire up. I need to cold start it with the injectors that the engine is going to be built with, if we're going to reuse injectors. Let me know in the comments, guys. Let me know what you think. When we're doing a fresh engine build and I fire that truck up and we find out that one of the injectors that we wanted to reuse is not good, it's double. Okay, double labor on the second time injector, so it's probably worth it to do an injector now. Probably. Or fresh injectors. It's only a couple $1,000. That's all every decision is. Guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Go ahead and get a moving blanket on the front. Cover everything up. Getting ready to put the guide studs in. I have all the T30s out. Got a 12 hex head out. And pop off the oil rail. Get this injector out and let's take a look at it. Let's go look closer. It's too dark. See how easy that cleaned it up? It cleans it up really good, but very easy to see the tip. Thank God it didn't break out. If it would have broke out, we'd be looking at the whole freaking... Okay, so not much to show here, just a single injector replacement. You saw the cracked injector. This is just a used injector. No use in buying new injectors. Let's make sure the engine's good first. Let the chatter stop. Here we go. God, it's spinning fast. Oh, crap. Thing gets spinning so fast, it can't even keep up with itself. It's gonna burn out some of the exhaust. There's always gonna be a lot of stuff in there. We didn't do a lot of cleaning because if the engine is hurt from that injector, it's all coming apart anyway. Hey, open that door all the way. Look at that, she read my mind. That was a used injector we put in there. It was a good one out of that we had. So we do have oil trails. That might have been a little from injector, but that one was, truck's been sitting here for a little while, over a week. You know, the oil leaks could be a reason, and he's been watching metal. Who knows how much metal? Maybe an oil seal lifter job with an inspection of rod bushings. Holy goodness, she's gonna be a little smoky. Whoa.
See if it's that before we just put in.
God, either that or we just cracked another injector.
Okay, I'll go grab the computer.
Wow. I don't know. I don't know what that was. Because now it went away. has a muffler on it, that would account for a lot of that white smoke. Okay, this is the turbo flutter when I let off. I don't know what that flutter was at the beginning when I put it into gear. It just was not happy. It actually sounded like another injector crack. Yeah, that's pretty much clear now. Yeah. It's kind of freaky how once it gets up to temperature enough, then it's done. The fuel issue that we had cracked that one tip. The other injectors subjected to the same conditions. Back to somewhat normal. This truck is extremely quiet. So any issues, any concerns, just go scream down the highway with the windows up. We'll hear it. Not all the way in it, not beating on it. It gets up and goes, it's not no slouch. Just drive it for a minute. Let's just see if there's anything that I noticed that I would like to address above and beyond the list. 5 pounds of boost will hit. Touch it and let go, and it tries to return to center. Other than the oil leaks and the concerns about the health of the engine, I mean, this is actually a very nice truck. We just proved it right here. I mean, if it does crack, chances are if you don't drive it, a cracked injector will not take the engine as long as the nozzle does not physically break off of the injector. Now we can address upgrades because we've got a good running truck. If we want to get rid of the oil leaks, you want to go ahead at 243,000 miles, preemptively do a set of lifters? Yes, most definitely. Hopefully the upgrade does not go as far as rod bushing replacement. Let's hope it's not that, but I think Frank is absolutely willing to do it if it is that. And in order to do that, we have to take the pan off, put it on the stand, put it upside down. So at this point, hillbilly head gasket test. Let's give it 5 minutes and see if it starts. No, that's pretty good. Just a little one. Raw fuel is running through the exhaust. It'll puddle it there. So all I had to do was get the muffler hot. I mean, the oil leak is pretty annoying. And a truck this nice kind of needs to not leak oil. The base engine sounds fine, so call that a win for Frank. That's a 19 millimeter. Take the petcock out. We drained all the coolant. The seat's out, cab bolts out. The interior's all taken apart. Julie cleaned a lot of it up. And that is ready for cab off. The radiator out, charge air cooler. Take all that stuff out, we'll clean them. And we're gonna go ahead and get a new condenser. I take all the clamps off. Clamps will look brand new. So I use the space heater on the CAC tube. Drop it down here too. While the vacuum pump is running, I'll take that 13 off and I'll separate that and open up the AC system. Kept freaking getting sidetracked. This heater is kind of junky. Pulling off the CAC tube, I thought it was warm enough and I grabbed it and I pulled it and I completely split the CAC tube in half right here. Like this was still attached to the intake elbow and it broke right there and I just completely separated the whole pipe. So needless to say, I'm a little leery right now. Had some residue right here. Transmission cooler's in front of it. Power steering cooler's up above it. All right, here we are. Cab off. This is Frank's truck. We did a Y pipe and intake a couple of years ago. This is studded and does not have exhaust manifold gaskets on it. No exhaust manifold gaskets. And leaking exhaust like a son of a gun everywhere, and a broken bolt. That's odd, you see it right there? This needs to go way up in the tube there, and they never get put far enough up, and you wind up with that hitting right there on the cross member. Find whatever length we need to cut it off so that that clears the cross member. If you don't, then you just hear rattling every now and then, and it's got, like, I've had an exhaust leak soot all over it. We're not gonna do anything with the body. Like, disgusting, but it's not rusted. But cab off, Frank's truck. Here we are. We can start banging parts on here and fill our cart up. That's the cab off pile. There's cab off, then there's heads off, then there's engine out. Those are 3 separate steps. After a couple of years of us working on it, and just looking around for any general spots of messed upness. It's never a bad thing just to stop, look around, and before you start tearing things apart, look for something, you know, like little exhaust leaks, noteworthy stuff. Just things that are noteworthy. We're not in that freaking big of a damn hurry. Take a note of how that looks. Generally, we probably would have put new cam and crank sensors in it when we did an engine harness. All right, just pop the coolant pump pulley off. It is a leaker. Like 90% of all of them do within a couple of years. It's not a forever type thing. Let me know which ones you guys use. So the line that goes to the back of the hydro boost lost its ability to stay clean. I mean, I take it off anyways. We're put caps in both of them. Yeah, you don't need to use sealant on your rear head plugs at all. Yes, you do if you reuse all the parts, then you put sealant everywhere. I mean, they didn't have a problem though, so whatever you want to moan and groan about. And they over tightened a bunch and under tightened a bunch. That one right there on the very front could have damaged threads in the cylinder head, and it didn't just crack loose. The bolt moved, and then it was hard to turn for about 3 turns. These are the O-rings that we got the reman injectors with. Top O-ring looks great. The bottom O-ring is all deteriorated as a center. When you get an injector install kit from Ford, it's a light blue O-ring. I mean, yet another one, look at that. Kit for Motorcraft has a shitty black O-ring. You buy a reman injector, it has a shitty white O-ring. So I guess you have to buy an injector install kit, and then you have to take the white O-ring off and put the white O-ring in out of the install kit, and then leave the O-ring on the reman injector. So yeah, that's your schedule. Okay, we got the pump off. There's not a lot of really deep scarring, but there is some there. It's not real deep, it's not real horrible. We have put trucks back in service with pumps worse than that. You can pull it out with a magnet, and then you get them both out. Now we look in there and look for gouges. There's a little bit of them. We got some spots, something went through it. Pretty consistent. It might even still be in there. We got the front cover off, starter, battery cable. Valley of the engine's cleared out. All right, guys, now this is what we clean up of your crap. Look at this crap. I was going through the vanes and cleaning the turbo. The actuator arm has done a little damage to the unison ring right there. Well, we got a little right there. See the line on the side? Yeah, that shouldn't be there. That's not letting you hit it all the way. Obviously the arm is trying to go over there, so the arm has to move farther. Like 100 bucks, 150 bucks or something. Kind of spin it like that. Make sure that there's no ridges. Pretty freaking good. Just, I mean, it's gonna have to do. If it still flutters, you're looking at a freaking turbo just to replace it. I mean, we could put a turbo on it now, but I mean, this turbo right here absolutely will be going on another truck somewhere. This turbo's not bad yet. Let's get some more life out of it. Like the, yeah. See it blowing bubbles? Okay, so we do have a leak. Everything that is taken off of this truck so far has now been done, set on the shelf, ready to reinstall. That is a wonderful place to be, you know, other than the manifolds. We're gonna surface those manifolds and surface the heads and put them back together with no gaskets. He had massive exhaust leaks. I mean, the unison ring had a little messed upness, so did the actuator arm. I mean, let's get a little more life out of it, and it's just a turbo swap. It's half a day job. It's not even half a day, it's a couple hours care. I mean, if a turbo shows up, I'll bolt another turbo on, but that one right there, if we do bolt another turbo on, somebody should be putting that back on another truck. This turbo is not dead, is all I'm saying. And for fiscal responsibility, we should run that. And there's the retainer that I broke. Broke the little cheesy plastic while I was trying to bust those 13s loose. So we've got those here. Now is what I was talking about. We got everything loose. We can tap it right here with the dead blow. See how sealed they are right here. Boom, done. Now, lay it over real gingerly. Boom, 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 boom. Every bit in good condition as they were when they were put on, which is nice. But we could use new O-rings. Could use new O-rings. It absolutely would have broke. Look how corroded it is. And this is what you're left with. You got the rocker box off. If the standpipe separates, leave it on there. And right now we can get it out very easily. I lift it up, set it on top of there, let the oil drain. Definitely rust stained everywhere. Look at that, down inside of there. Looks like a freaking O-ring in there. There would be an argument that installer error caused that O-ring to get chewed up. Like a glob of crap. What is that? Oh, there's some there too. Look at all that nasty crap. But we're just gonna let the heads go. They're actually almost clean. They're pretty freaking clean. Oh, not yet though. Bounce out of the spray cabinet, back to the hot seat, over, back and forth. Those heads are gonna be done. But the heads probably will be done in a minute, and then we can work on getting this block out. But I want to paint the heads first. Actually, yeah, we have a lot of work still to do. What's going on in here? Oh, I forgot about the rocker boxes. Look at Julie, she's on it. Set those in the hole. We need to not have paint on it anyways, and we need to paint the bolts, so genius, let's do that. They're painted, drying. I might do another coat, I don't know. Right now we're current, completely current on parts. So is Trixie, she's waiting on us to build an engine. All the parts that we have off the truck are clean and done. Rocker box is all done, valve cover's done, everything. Ready to grab and put right back on the truck. Joey took one shock bolt out. Didn't finish it. I didn't let him actually, because he was getting the floor dirty. Thinking I want to wash it before we take all that wiring loose, just to give a quick graze over. This is coming out, and we've got this. We're gonna put that in. Remember that? You guys remember that? Yeah, that's gonna go in here. That will allow us to keep the transmission in place, wash the transmission, wash the chassis, wash everything without having the engine in the way. It won't look like that when we're done. Not even near about close. We lit the whole engine by those. Must have been doing something different with them. Just like that. We attach it to the lift. As soon as we get the engine on the stand, then we'll put the fake engine on, take the strap down, and then the truck is movable with the transmission in it, ready to be washed. Okay, we shut the lights off here. For now, we're gonna go over here and see if we can't find any cause for metal for the low pressure pump to have divots. With the oil rails off and everything, oil cooler, all that done, as much as you can stand in the little drain pan, it fills that thing up, and I don't really wanna have it full. This is the most thorough oil change you're gonna get. Now we'll drain the transmission with that dirty drain pan. Took the skid plate off too, so we'll get the transfer case drained. The rear diff every 100,000 miles. I do the front diff every 300,000 miles. When we do the temp sensor, it'll take even more fluid out.
What'd you see?
Drain the transfer case too. It's not real dark.
Some little lines.
Ooh. Came on back in the shop. It's time to do some work. I had a couple things I actually wanted to freaking moan and groan and freaking bitch about.
Okay, let's go see how this stuff's coming off that Frank has put on his truck.
So we want to paint it, and he'll put fluid film back on it. So I did the transmission because everybody thinks they're immune to getting disgustingly dirty. I put on a full face helmet and everything. Put the hood up and then put a full face helmet on. Close the lid on, just let her eat. It's washing your helmet off, kind of.
So Joey spent most of the day power washing, not most of the day, a couple hours.
What?
It actually,
I was labeling it.
running over with the drop vac.
Trying to clean these shock towers. I mean, yeah, ideally we'd sandblast the whole thing, take everything apart.
It looks good though. Oh, there's a spot there. I might have to get the scraper on that. Okay.
is very hard to do. I got to get in there with a toothbrush. It's only undercoated with what you can see from the bottom of the truck. So we're going to focus on getting paint on all this stuff that you can't see. This is the only rust on the entire truck, so that's all we're going to focus on. Just go around and get it down the metal. So maybe this fluid film treatment is oil-based. So can you see it melting the oil out of the metal? So I come to the conclusion we're going to do this where I want the paint to really stick at on the top of the frame rail, stuff like that. I doubt I'm gonna get too crazy with all of it, but it's gonna run around all the stuff that normally, normally rusts. These also, the frickin' springs. I thought about maybe taking the springs off. See it burn all the oil off of it.
So we're pulling out Frank's lifters.
I mean, they're just like
some little lines.
Ooh, see how it's got the white on it? It's like it doesn't have a complete contact patch.
Now we'll have to look at the camshaft.
Looks like there's, hang on. Do those little marks wipe off? Or are those gouges in there?
Can't really...
Yeah, they look like little scratches.
Ooh.
I think we might have just justified the entire thing. We could have just let it ride down the road, couldn't we?
So
no, Frank, you'll be fine. Runs good.
Sure does.
Good call. So that shows you right there with the needle bearing gone that it will run and appear to be okay for quite a while. We got one lifter. Right there, say bye-bye. About to turn it upside down. It's a monumental time for any engine, the time when it actually goes upside down on the stand. Let's flip it over and see what's in the oil pan. That gasket's flat. God, it is so nasty. I know once I touch it.
You're gonna have to go wash your hands.
Okay, you want to get a flash on in there?
Well, as I suspected, there were zip ties in the pickup tube.
Just look around in there. Looks like some, yeah, and up here. Let's see.
I've seen sparklier.
Joey did to the frame. It looks freaking phenomenal. We can put the frame on hold now. We wire brushed it too. We actually did prep a little bit on this. Now some of that nasty stuff just wouldn't come off. We got to do a little bit thicker there. I might do one more coat. One quick touch up. Okay, crankshaft in play. We already checked it the same way. It's 6,000. It's a little hair big, still within spec. But we got, let's see, it's reading 91 to 95. So we got 4 thousandths on camshaft in play. I don't know, we'll have to look at this camshaft, see if it'll survive, because I mean we got all kinds of camshafts we could throw on there, but now we'll check gear backlash on the camshaft.
Got a valve hit right there.
Valve are hitting.
Right there.
I thought I did 33.
Oh, we got some on number 1 as well.
Yeah, so they've had 11,000 taken off.
Number 1 touched a little too.
25 plus 9. So 34. The spec is 4.0, so we got 6 thousandths cut off of it. Oh wow, it's not even cut true either. That is 30, 29 and a half. So we got 11.5 thousandths cut off this side. 7 to 11. We got 7 thousandths skinnier than spec here and 11 thousandths skinnier here. Oh yeah, this is way smaller. That's 29, which means that one had 11 cut off. Oh, this is all the way down to 25. Yeah, they chopped the hell out of this one. See, it almost goes all the way to 0. Yeah, so that's 25. So this side's had 15 thousandths cut off of it. So we're barring it over and checking for torsion, and because I got 24 on the side. that one's pretty good, 23. So that's how we're checking all these.
That plays off.
Just another set of bearings that absolutely did their job. Barely feel it there. I can feel a little bit better on that one. Look at that. You see that right there? What are your guys' opinions on what that is? Because I've heard a lot of different opinions. Like that could be acid in the oil. What's funny is it's fairly smooth. Now we're pulling the rods out. Journals really don't look too bad. I took the bed plate off so we could get it in there and get it cleaning.
Anything look spun or just worn out?
Nothing yet. I don't see nothing spun. There's definitely discolor though in there.
Piston cooling jets are out.
Air blockets ready to go.
Oil galley plugs are out. Ready for a hot soak.
Yeah, every time we get done with a part of the job, it's a little celebration. A little bit of rust going on there. We're gonna go ahead and touch off on all this. One of them I saw was 2 thousandths out. Haven't done a whole bunch of inspecting yet. But we're about to get the machine shop fired back up. And now I'm gonna go ahead and cut the guides out. Drilling out more guides. I didn't even show you, we did go ahead and put the guides in that one. But I have a bolt broke off. And look, it's chucked up in the guide seat machine. So I'm glad I didn't spend any time at all messing with that. Make sure we thread chase them, especially since we painted. Because you're supposed to thread chase every hole any freaking ways. This little guy right here. Now let's get it set up to pull this out. Look down the edge of the cylinder head. Pretty simple. Looks like I need to turn a little more. It's a two-handed job, but that's how we do it. Probably want to get a bigger drill bit, that's what I ought to do. Yeah, bigger drill bit. Lightly touch it, that's all I want to. So far, there's what we got. A little bit off, but I got my center mark, so now I can get a smaller drill bit. This one. It's throwing metal off all over the place. I can feel little shards hitting me. Hopefully it grabs it. I mean, we'll find out if it was cross-threaded in or if it doesn't pop and come out.
While I'm recording, he's got his hands full.
Look at it. You see it?
Yep.
Oh, God. Try to move it. Here it goes. Oh. Is it tight enough? There, I'll just let it float on it. Tighten it up. I might be able to get that out by hand. Ow, that's sharp. Ow, shit.
We're not even going to be able to grab it. Here we go.
Ow, shit, that's sharp. All right, so I don't always win. We're gonna put an insert in that one. I'm not liking it. There's some threads down there in the bottom, but might be parts of the bolt too. I mean, we almost got it, but we didn't. I just don't believe that the threads are gonna be strong enough to sustain it, so now we'll go extremely manual. It's a two-handed deal. But I mean, the machine will do it. I've done it a lot in a drill. Like when we do this in aluminum, I will chuck that tap up in a freaking drill and I'll just run it in, zoop, zoop, and pull it back out. It'll be fine. But right now, let's take our time in and out and clean it all up. We desperately need these bolts to hold. Blow that out real good and send that back in. Look how rusted it is. So I can't really trust it that much. Look how the threads are almost gone. Oh, yeah. Maybe we gotta look for another one, Julie. Okay, I think that's it. Make sure we get it all the way down underneath it, underneath the reveal. Now we gotta break the bottom off. We can just go like that, and then like that. Oh, there it goes.
Go.
Into my shoe.
Into
They
your
go in my shoe.
Great. You guys saw
No, right there.
Oh, you found it? Yep, there it is.
Yep, the little indentation right there. That is where you're supposed to break it off. Bam, yep, we're good. Just a little touch. This will at least get the ridge off the top. I mean, we have the hone too, but a lot of times we end up honing the entire guide when all you need to do is take it off the top. This is how we decide where level is for the pilot, where we actually cut. This mimics the spindle. So I can put this angle finder on here and go -5 because it's -5 this way. The machine's out -5. And then turn it this way and it's 0. And so then we go up here and we put it on here, test this one straight, 0, and then turn it the same way, -5. So that's how we level this up and make that, the head, match the work. And then here we have, these are loose, and then this one is tight. Then you can adjust this and you can turn this lever and it'll do fine-tune adjustments. But sometimes you can just tap it with your hand, and they have this little guy right here that's not entirely the most accurate. You have to lock this side and that side at the same time, because if you don't, then it'll change this. So that's where I screwed up. Normally I would tighten it down while the pilot is, the angle finder is on it. And I didn't do that. Let's go back and restart all over. This is why I wanted to have $1,000 bills laying around. My cutter takes a lot more out of the throat than what stays in at factory. You can see right there. It's gonna move it though. I ought to double check. Yeah, let's get the tools out. I was gonna just, you're not seeing it like I'm seeing it. Well, that's a camera, you know.
It looks
pretty close. Yeah, that's about it. I put the point right where I want the top of the seat to be. Now I lower it down on the cutter. Oh wow, look, you can see all the dirt on it. But we'll get real close and look and make that match with the top of that middle cut. Pretty freaking close. Happy with that. So I didn't need to change it. How cool. Now let's chuck all that up and run it down here, and let's cut it till it's clean. Here you go, first cut of the whole job right here. Oh no, I already touched it, didn't I? There it goes, just touch the back side. Grind the valve. And it looks like that. Let's see if our 30 degree is good. Mark that. We'll go ahead and mark this, put it in there. It should bang it right off. So I ran it, checked it. It's a little too much on the inside. So if you put that up here inside of this and it's cutting too much like that, it's cutting too much on the inside. So that means I need to go out just a little bit. So my 30 degrees isn't necessarily 30. It's been a minute since I've ran it. I gotta remember. I don't really want to put a mark on it because I could just adjust that screw, but I need to go out just a fuzz. Okay, I've been sitting here fighting it, beating my head against the wall, and when it gets right, it's just there. That was like 2 swipes with it. I put it in like that and went, and it was done. That's it, I pulled it out, and that's what it looked like. So that means it's lined up. So this is where I've been chasing. See that little bit past 30? Right there? Yeah, that's where we gotta be, right there. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do one more, another one again. I've done 3 so far. I'm gonna do one more with that without moving it, cut this valve, cut the seat, put it in. If it does that again, then I will grind all these valves on that angle. Yeah. Some of these are so freaking bad. Look how, I mean, the valve is not bent. That's just how the grind was. It's so freaking non-concentric. So I have to cut it to make it round again. Look down in there, look at that thing. The valve's not bent, but it's just, I mean, damn. So that's what we clean up. It looks like it's wobbling. We got that side where recession's done. Julie's lapping those, doing a final lap on them. I picked the best valves for that head over there, all the ones that are recession works. And these, I might just, it depends on how much the seat takes to clean versus how much I have to take out of the valve to clean. So we just have to bounce valves around and find the ones that work for recession. I mean, the only other option is all new valves, but we don't need to do all new valves, but we will do the ones that took too much. We went ahead and chucked up the exhaust manifolds. Oh, hey, this is 8 thousandths up on the far port. They are way off, not even close. Using the other cylinder head over there as filler work for when I'm waiting on the servicer to go. But this is the first surface of the whole job right now. So let's not mess up, pay attention. Look that close. Oh, goodness. Almost nothing. It sounded like something there though. Oh, too much. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm doing. Okay, now I'm 4 thousandths up. That's really the only place it hit was right there and right there. Nowhere else hit it all yet. Slightly touched back there. Manifolds are tricky because they're all over the place. And that's what I've got. That one's way low. On a pretty good, I mean, look, it didn't cut all that out, but it cut all that out. So that tells you what I'm fighting here. So they're not, that's why we're servicing it. Holy goodness, that's what we're talking about. Oh, no, damn. So now's where it really freaking sucks because I'm gonna have to keep going until I get that all the way cut out. It's getting there though. Not quite, but almost. One more probably. That's it. Oh, come on, please be it. Yeah, that's it. So, I mean, do we need to service our manifolds? Almost touched all the way around all of them except the inside of that one. Yeah, I've cut so much off of this one, it's not even funny. That little bastard right there just is not coming out. Exhaust manifold, side of the cylinder head. I'm just chiseling away. 2 surfaces done, got 7 to go. Looks freaking great. You see it? You see it? All good, all good, all good. And bam, these mains so that I can compare them with the crankshaft. We always have to double check this crap before we get too much time and energy invested in, say, an engine block or a crankshaft or cylinder head or something like that. I don't know. I was halfway through a cut. They're doing big transmission lines like a mile down the road. Power cut off. Gave me a chance to see that I might be a little high right here. A little bit. He slightly grazed it. We got to measure for push rods. That's there's variables to mess up when you're measuring for push rods. Okay, when we're checking rods, I like to clamp it with the vise almost where the threads are actually locking into something. Work that thing or bend the exhaust side there because I already surfaced both exhaust sides and the manifolds over there. You know, they just hardened surfaces from the heat from the exhaust. Right here in this area. Do they let coolant go in there? I mean, that's got to be where the rust or condensation, who knows? Who knows what it's from? But I'm gonna drop it a little bit more and then cut it before I spin this cutter. I'm gonna have to spin it before the job's over, but maybe not just yet. Crankshaft journals now. I torqued all the rods, got the bearings in it. This number right here, which is 716.5. Set the bore gauge to this, and then that will tell us our clearance on the rods. Looks like this one's gonna be the same thing. Cleans up real good, just stained really bad right there in the middle. Hopefully this last one's gonna be about 4 thousandths on both of them. Maybe 4.5 on this one by the time I'm done. Measure right here. And that's gonna be 3.1. This is our clearance. This is what we're left. And then I turn it and do it here. So I measure it across here and here and here and here. I mean, honestly, you know, I guess I could go right here too. A little bit less, 0.2 less. And over here, the rest of the numbers. That's our oil clearance, measured across it. So we're a little big on 8 and 7, honestly. And the rest of them are within spec. I mean, 7 is within, 3.3 is the max you're supposed to have. But we got 3.4 to 3.6. That one's not bad either, 15. This one, however, is way out. Kind of hoping that maybe these things would have gotten good just by sitting here. Really like to put oil holes in it. Look at it, just because I don't measure out of spec. Sure looks like something's going on. I'm gonna touch one more. The other one's done, it's ready to be cleaned. I left a little on that one. All right, this is it, 0 cut, let's run over it. I've cut enough off of it, we're not doing it anymore. I'd really like to know that the crankshaft's good. I don't have main bearings here. And once you lap this valve in, it is absolutely dead set to that seat. We're gonna use Velcro valve seals. Do we need to dress the wheel? I actually haven't done it in a long time. Let's see how nasty this is down here. Look at that, completely covered with crap. It's this little guy, I think, right here. Exact same thing we do back here with that to true up the valve surface. I have to do that quite a bit. Okay, so after another day down, we've done a lot of research. I did get from spiral.com a quote of $3.50 a piece, $350 minimum. That'll get us 100 of them. That's a crazy amount. This edge down here could dig into that shim and just dig in and make metal. So I'm not sure how the shim is going to react, so I'm going to opt to go ahead and have the valve seal be up 15 thousandths off the guide. Rather have that surface be touching each other rather than it down a little bit and there's a shim in between there that could potentially get chewed up. If you guys need shims for your Powerstroke, there's your part number right there. Got a little stop put on the press. This thing's got little lights that shine on it. Big bit first. To put a little countersunk, that will let me locate the center, the little bitty drill bit. Want to get a little oil in there, try to keep them from spinning. Because there's I'm wondering if there's a chance by drilling the hole in, it kind of acts as a little stake to kind of help keep it in place. Because there'll be, but probably not, but at least this way there'll be a way for some oil to get in there. We got our spring seats. Let me see if I can explain it. When we do surface it, it takes the entire valve and raises it up like that. We need to raise the spring up 15 thousandths to go along with the bottom of the valve that goes up. There they are. There's supposed to be 100 in here, isn't there?
Not 40. 4 packages of 10.
No, we have 1 package of 10.
1 shipped, 3 on back order.
Oh, 3 is on back order. Here, let's cut this open and see how it fits first. Yeah, 15,000. I originally was going to put it right there because that's where it was supposed to go.
Oh yeah, it fits on there good.
Yeah, fits on there real good. I'm worried that the 15 is going to dig in and not be thick enough to take the pressure from there. That right there sits inside of the indention. Like I try to wiggle it around, it will stay. 4 packs of these, and they sent us 1 and 3 in back order, so we just ordered a different set. We got 16 thousandths, 625 by 16 thousandths. They had them in stock. We can use 15s and 16s, it ain't gonna matter. Now we switch over and do the rod bushings, even though I'm all set up to assemble the heads, which is a drag. Okay, I got the old bearings in, oiled the surfaces, and we're gonna go ahead and torque the crank in. We're only doing this to check the new rod bushings. Went ahead and set the engine block up so that I can test it. No cam in. We're gonna use the old bearings. Number 7 was 28. We have not surfaced it yet. We should be able to know where our rod bushing bore is gonna be. And there we are, we got it put back together. We had to look at a video though, a picture. And there it is. So we got the number 7 rod on the number 7 piston going in the number 7 hole with the old bearings, the old mains with the new bushing. 0, 10, 15, 20, 24, 12.
What?
Okay, we'll just push it back to, go back to 25. No, go all the way around and get it to stop at 25. Okay, there. So from there, we're at 25, and we go to this side. Hell yes. Okay, so we're good on rod bushings. 25. The old number was 28, so these are -3. We could also decide to surface some more off the block, depending on what the other numbers are, I guess. But I doubt it. I don't think so. I think we'll shoot for 5, and that'll give us 5 thousandths variance on the recession and the protrusion, because then it'll be at 30. And the valves be at about probably 22 to 24. With 30, you ought to be able to run this and they'll never touch ever. Not like it had before. It had witness marks on 2 of the pistons. So, but that is a hair I wouldn't mind on this block being a little higher. Just a little bit higher would be nice. But by the time we surface, it'll be good. It'll be fine. Those are done. Finally done. Yes. It was not really that big of a deal. I'll figure the bob weights and we send the crankshaft off with the flex plate, the adapter flange and the flex plate and the harmonic balancer. And that's it, with it mounted to it. I don't send any pistons or rods. I just send it off with the bob weight numbers. I like doing that. That way I get to touch all of them and I decide what the bob weights are. There's varying opinions on how matched is matched, whether it's plus a gram or half a gram or dead nuts 0. I really hate doing all the work on cylinders, kind of like on surfaces, kind of like I did on the heads. The heads are there, we're babysitting them. I have to make sure they stay good. So the few amount of time that I can spend babysitting deck surfaces and cylinders and just machine surfaces, the better. I weigh all the pins individually, put the heaviest, put them in line, heaviest to lightest, put the pistons heaviest to lightest, and then you put the heaviest pin with the lightest piston. Next heaviest pin to the next lightest piston. And I did that, and this is, now it's 1.0, it's 1,066 grams, but I don't even need to write all that. I just write the last bit. So we got 665, 65, 66, 67, 68, 68, 68. So those are within 0.3 of a gram. All of them are. From here to there is 0.3 of a gram with each other. But we got this little bastard right here that's gonna be 2 grams off. So I might just cut some out of that. I don't know, 0.3 of a gram. You think I ought to leave all of these alone? Yeah, because it's, here, let me show you. 1066.5. Okay, so that's 0.5. So this one over here, all the way on the other side is 1066.8. So 0.8. So it's like, I can blow on it and make it go farther than that. Yeah, just the wind is heavier than what this piston is than this one. So we only have 1 piston to touch. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I will go ahead and just get OCD on it, and because normally I like to make them all read. I took an extra time on the rods. We got 1206 total rod weight, and then 370 and 836, so it took a little time with the rods, but they're done. And now it looks like the pistons are about to be done too. That is freaking awesome. Okay, we're back in the shop. And we're cutting the block finally. We got the crankshaft back from the balancer. Looks like we're actually on a fairly decent freaking level. It's just kind of a little uneven all over the freaking place. So we'll drop it down again. I mean, the more we do here, the more we're giving piston protrusion. All right, this is 2/1000 off. That's probably not far-fetched. We're gonna get about 4 out of it. When somebody does a head gasket job and they clean out all the staining, then it'll take the material out. So, you know, the fact it's not warped, it's just not flat. That's really what we're dealing with here. Yeah, does not look bad. We'll do one more just to give it a good cleanup. I like it. The passenger side bank with a block, surfaced and done. This will be the driver's side bank, touched off. Right there you can see a little, so that tells us that we're real freaking close. Yep, good level. We will do one more on this one. I'm calling that done. We'll do a 0 pass on it. We still got a couple of little bitty lines, but nothing extreme. I'm gonna go ahead and let it go like that in the center. That might get taken off with a 0 cut. Just graze over the top real quick. And we're done with the surfacer for the whole job. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. Here we are. I mean, turn the pressure up. I'm at 30%. Almost done. I took 3,000 out. See the ridge right there. Pretty within probably 2.5 to 3 thousandths, and then I'll put finished in and finish it. All right, that's our first initial cut. Let me set it in here, one-handed. We still have 6 thousandths to cut. It will mimic that hole on the rest of them, as long as I get it set up right. Since I'm using diamonds and coolant, that block is not hot. I don't have to switch from one hole to the other. So I'm within 2 thousandths with rough diamonds. I'll cut the last 2 thousandths out with the smooth diamonds, give it a little plateau cut, and then we'll brush it, chamfer the bores. This sucker's about to go on the stand right there. All up. There you go, got it. All right, it's another day. The heads are right over there, way over there, done. Assembled and done. The block is completely machined. We are now done with equipment. We started covering up some of it. Okay, just me over here hanging out in the corner. We're final clean. That's probably spent about 1.5 to 2 hours cleaning on this thing. Oil galley plugs, then camshaft. Well, piston cooling jets, then camshaft, and let's go. All right, there's the crankshaft. I haven't oiled them, or I put lubricate on it. Got it balanced. Bob Morton. Got the crank all ready. Cleaned up, piston cooling jets in, camshaft in, oil galleys, all that stuff. Now we're ready for the crankshaft. Put one little dot on, and I thought I might show you guys before we get started at this process. We got the front cover, the rear cover, the lifter soaking in oil, the high pressure pump cover, all that stuff is ready to go. We got anaerobic on here, spray your surface prep on this, and then I put some TA29 there, and just let that co-mingle in on the T-joints of the anaerobic. And that surface prep makes that anaerobic turn into hard plastic. Yeah, use that stuff. Don't not use that. All right, we got Felpro's front cover gasket, and they are actually getting worse and worse. So if you do not want to put any sealant on your front cover at all, honestly, I would probably say then don't do your front cover. When we put the bed plate on, we're gonna do all the T-joints. Front cover, the rear cover, and the high pressure pump. I don't really want to question like whether or not the top T-joint or whatever, if there's well, let's just do everything we can to try to not have oil leaks. We just make a service manual, a new one for a new procedure, because this is how you should build a short block right here. There's no rods in it because we don't have time to put all the rods in because all the sealant's going to dry. Like me sitting here talking to you, the sealant's drying right now. I need to hurry the hell up. And once we put the pump cover on, all the sealant is dry. We can breathe, we can relax for a minute, and then work on getting the rotating assembly done.
Yeah, after we torque the lifters.
Yeah. I can spin that like that, and I have the pump in. It's trying to pump. I think a lot of lines are caused in cylinder walls by ring ends that are not deburred well enough. So let's give it a little fighting chance and file it off a little bit, and then we'll check ring end gap. Keep them in these containers. It works really good for storing it. I'm gonna knock a little bit off the corners. We'll go around them, make sure that they don't, like this is new. Here we go. Yeah, that's freaking gritty. It's a pain in the ass too. It takes a long time to just sit back and take a break. And I mean, it's, you know, general practice is you should check each ring in the cylinder it's going on with the piston, right? Get the rotating assembly in, and the protrusion is freaking wonderful. I mean, the highest is 31, the lowest is 28. Julie did order a charge air cooler, and we got some push rods ordered. A set of 15 thousandths shy, 3/8 diameter. Got some sealant on it. Upper oil pan. Let's put this thing on. Rods are all torqued. Protrusion is good. We got the numbers wrote. We'll show you later. Let's button it up. Don't forget the pickup tube. Let's go. Let's turn his world right side up. You want to? There you go. We're getting closer. The low pressure regulator in, low pressure pump, new pump, front crank seal. Put the tool on and let's press on the rear main seal too. All right, there you go. We are all together. It is coming off of the engine stand. Time to turn some lights on here. We got all the lights off. We don't run all the lights, but there it is. She is. Oh man, that's nice. It takes a long time to get here. Long damn time to get all this done. Look at it, it's shining, you can't even see it. And let's drop this short block in right now. You're never gonna get it all out of there. But we've gotten a little bit more since we've stopped. This old girl in the hole, let's see if she can go. And we're here. We put a strap on the bell house, on the balancer that holds it on an angle. Strap on the transmission. We already took all that off. Put the torque converter in, I hope. Did you? Yep. Can you see? Those are in. Bell housing's tight. Now, we'll sit down right here. Look down there. And let's put our torque converter nuts in with 14, stupid long, 26 foot-pounds, 18, barred over, watch it, torque it, done. Got the transmission harness and the chassis harness done.
I tightened the nut.
There you go. It looks like a mess of Super Duty here. Now Joey's tightening up the shocks. Putting some Bilstein 5100s. Got them on the front and the back. Bam! That looks great. We do put a new gasket on every time. Let's look at this side. Yep. Deck surfaces are delinted. We got the heads over here. My hands finished drying. I'll go over the block and the heads. Bare hand with a blowgun in the other hand, and I'll blow over it and just wipe it with my hand. Harnesses are done. Fuel pumps all put together. It's done. Got the transmission harness back on. We need the transfer case vent tube also. Get the studs sticking out, stick the head gaskets on, set the heads on. I'll go ahead and hand thread these tins in, but I'll thread them in so that they do not touch the head. You don't want to pull it down. Have these bolts in place, lowered all the way down, and then torque those, and then you won't have any kind of alignment. When I'm blowing out the block, I blow down inside the coolant ports. And you could argue that I could went ahead and left the block heater out, but I don't never leave that out. I always put that in when we build the engine. But at least have the block drain out so that when I'm blowing down in the coolant ports, at least there's a hole down there, even though everything comes out this way and comes right in your face. But I don't know, that's just what I do. I like to leave the block drains out until the heads are torqued. That's what we do. And then I don't want to put the starter in until the block drains are in. So I do as best I can to inspect them when we take them apart. But I generally do not clean them when the truck comes apart. We clean them right before it goes back on the truck. All right, say bye-bye, pistons. Let's look at these four one more time before we say bye-bye. Yep. Now I need some help. Julie! Human eyes, better never look at them again. We have a 6.4 block heater cord, and I do not want to change it because it is a good looking cord. Joey's putting the transmission pan in. We got to put the filter in down there. We got a new transmission temp sensor put in, pumped out a bunch of fluid out of the torque converter. Got the 08 filter, it's 08 setup. We also put a new filter in the external housing, and we have a new Motorcraft filter. This is 08. 6 liter has a screen, 6.4 has a filter. You can't argue with filtering more fluid, I guess. It's but in order to change that filter, it causes you to drop the pan. On a lot of 6 liter, you can just drain the fluid and change the filter in the front. And the increment on that was supposed to be 30,000 miles from factory. Every 30,000 miles, well, nobody does it. Everybody always goes 100 at least. But if you could go 30,000 miles and just drain, change the filter, drive another 30,000 miles, drain, change the filter, you probably never lose a transmission. 7:30 at night, but they showed up for your order. There they are. Yep. So we're shooting for 9,780. I mean, maybe. Plus or minus a little bit. We're about 84, 83. Yeah, that'll work. I mean, when you get down to the roundabout works here because it's hydraulic lifter. These suckers in and live a happy life.
Yay.
We got one. That is for there. You can just feel the lifter. That way it's, I mean, not that I've ever put one together and the push rod wasn't lined up, but. Oh, that's how you store it. In case any of you is wondering, you can use your Felpro box and it works wonderful. We haven't got my breath back yet. We just pulled the last torque on it. And it's gonna sit right here and wait for us to get back. I guess anything else that we're gonna be waiting on, we haven't thought of it yet. I like it, it looks good. Fits the bill. Once again, just another Super Duty service engine. Our air cooler did show up. We got global. Hope that's the right one. Steering stabilizer showed up too. That's Bilstein stabilizer. Right now I'm gonna deal with under the valve covers. Let's get the injectors in, glow plugs in, oil rails, standpipes, dummy plugs, valve covers, close it up, get the intake on. Now the money's flying off the shelf. Full set of remans. Okay, snapped all the plugs in, and now I want to put the intake on so I can put the Fickum harness on. That way I can plug all this in before we button this all up. I do seal the rocker box on. We have to cut this sealant off, this excess. Okay, so before we put the harnesses on and the oil filter housing, let's put the oil temp and the oil pressure switch, and then oil up the standpipe. And I poured oil down in that hole before I put the standpipe on until it almost poured out of the two holes right there. Oil the surface under there and put that on. Let's do it right now. Plug it along, get the IPR valve put back in. Don't forget the sleeve. If you don't have it, buy one. It's a new harness, but some of the tape is starting to get loose. And rather than just let it go because it's new, I'm gonna go ahead and tape it off. This tape right here started here and went up and then back down, and I'll stop here. This piece goes up and then back down, and I'll go down here just a little bit and I'll stop this one, and this one will go on past it. This was missing. I just went and found it over there in the boneyard. Must have fallen off somewhere and got something, but this is supposed to go on and push on that once the valve cover's on. Okay, so now that we have the harnesses plugged into the injectors and there's no concern about when I try to push this in, it pushing the plug out. Surfaced manifolds, mind you, and surfaced head surfaces. And I like to do the manifolds before the main engine harness. The main engine harness goes after the valve covers and Fickum brackets and glow plug brackets and all the brackets that go in the valve covers. Then I put the main engine harness on, but I desperately would want the manifolds on before the main engine harness. I really don't want the harness hanging down, being in the way while I put the manifolds on. History has shown that these exhaust manifold bolts and spacers will be brown with rust if we don't get at least a little paint on them. Somewhat of an oven, kind of. Okay, it happens all the time with EGT sensors. They, when they get drilled in, you can see the witness mark for how far it was in. It was barely in. So I'm just running a tap down it just to make sure the threads are cleaned up all the way in, because I want to run it a little further. A thin skim of JB weld around it, and then thread that sucker in and Loctite it. We don't care. I don't want that to ever come out again. There you go, no gaskets. New bolts and surfaces and no gaskets. These drain pans are great. I think O'Reilly's has them. They're freaking awesome. They work good for oil rails. We call them oil rail drain pans, what we call them. So you can set it up right there to see the nipple cups are not touching anything. If you're new here, you have no idea what guide studs are, but use guide studs. Injectors, pop them on. Oh man, it's wonderful. Dummy plugs are left in. We don't take them out when they were already updated. Reuse the standpipes, because I do not feel comfortable about the standpipes that we would buy nowadays. I hate to say it, but we're gonna have to ride and take a gamble on there being a failure with a standpipe. Nothing gone in the trash can on this entire job. You know, I used to bang on these gaskets a lot, but actually I've never been burnt by them. These are really, really clean too. We clean them all up. They're almost new too. I mean, we already buy them. It's in the engine gasket kit, so it's kind of double redundant to go ahead and buy. I used to do that a lot, buy intake gaskets when the Felpro comes with it, because I wouldn't use the Felpro intake. What are your thoughts on that? Would you guys rather have the old OEM or new Felpro? I'm looking at this engine harness, and there's a lot of stuff where the tape, it's at the point right now where if I put it back on, it'll start fraying. And so let's just do what we can right now to hopefully ensure that this harness stays good forever. Just like that. When you tighten that thing up, just go down till it touches. You don't have to wail away at that thing. It just needs to touch. Put these little bitty tins that just hold a bracket on, and they make them so freaking tight that when you take this off, it spins the valve cover bolt. Here, put the glow plug wires in now. Let's put those in first, and then I put sealants around here. Pop that in the groove there. Glow plug wires, then dipstick tube, then EBP tube. Coolant line goes that way. I do not connect this until we're all the way done, because sometimes these harnesses will go in this hole, sometimes they'll go in that hole. The IPR wire goes underneath the Fickum wires. Make sure you run it under it. Glow plug wire goes underneath here and over here and curves around and hooks in. But right now, it's turbo time. Let's open up a brand new turbo. Don't forget, whenever you buy these turbos, change your heat shield. I see so many of these, like almost every single one that people have done themselves. They do not transfer the heat shield. I don't know, guys. That looks like a crack to me. It could be a casting line, a little parting line, but I don't think so. I think it's a freaking crack. I don't want it. I don't even want it. Take it out in the backyard and beat shit out of yourself with it. So we're looking at a maintenance item. Any kit that you're gonna buy is gonna have a hole. I mean, I put them on before, but they got crap everywhere, lines everywhere. Yeah, I mean, why can't we regulate it down there or something? I don't freaking know. Say bye-bye, little guy. We'll see you in 2 years. You know, I swear to goodness, I've seen this messed up so many freaking times. I mean, I've seen blue spring. I saw a truck came in from a guy that knew, yeah, whatever, it's the same old story. Guy that knew how to work on trucks. It came in, I swear to God, it had a spring that I think came out of a click pin. It was hilarious. It had like 1 pound of pressure. It's ridiculous. Now is when we find all the stuff that we forgot to get done. Like lifting eyes. Okay, I've never really showed you guys this. Don't need no lifting eyes on this freaking engine. You know, you ain't gonna lift the engine out by the lifting eyes any freaking way. So get them the hell off of there. So put these, paint it, cut it, because we need that bracket to hold it on there. But I'm obviously waiting and holding it in front of the fire. They're sending us a turbo. We might have it tomorrow. Like right now, it's 0 hour for that freaking turbo. Everything is waiting on it. Can't do the exhaust, can't do the Wi-Fi, heat shield, none of that stuff. Can't do anything till the turbo's on. Ground it off. Grind off your grounds. And go over it, and we'll go ahead and touch off, paint it back over it. And don't forget the other ground too. We got a hose from Ford for that one.
Yeah, it goes up there like that.
And then this power steering line that we're going goes from gear to hydro boost, gearbox to hydro boost. That one goes to the bottom. We got to put the little O-rings in it. 11, 12 quarts, dump it in right now. Julie likes to set them down like this after she pours it. And get that last little bit out. Right there waiting. Of course, it'll take a lot more than that. I think it takes like, especially a torque converter empty, we might need a, like, it might swallow up almost a whole other case. Dang. So I just went and looked it up from an empty fill, 17.5 quarts. Okay, so we got 11 in there now. That's enough to actually pump quite a bit and then throw some more in frantically, because we don't want to put it all in. It won't physically fit in the pan. It's probably about to pour out of the tube. But on the other side of that, that is a fairly good leak checker to actually fill it all the way up to there and let the pan gasket be completely submerged in oil. S&B cab mounts on the front.
Yep.
Okay, enough with that. How about we get a new fuel filter cap? On a fresh install, I oil up the O-ring and I throw a little oil inside of there, and then make sure the housing where the O-ring meets right there has oil. Now, when you're in service, you don't have to. That's same for the oil filter as well. You don't have to oil the O-ring when you do an oil change. It's just, I guess, go for it. Off. Okay, it helps to shut it off for a minute. Shut it off because there are times when it'll just sit there and run forever and not pick up any primes. So it's got a little steam coming out of there. There it goes. Do not put your cap and cap it up and then think you're going to push all that air out of there. Stop. Whew. Okay. Well, there it is. Let that bubble down. Now you could say that we've got, see the little drain right there? Draining it out. So with that drain right there also, you could thread the filter down real slow and it should push it out past the return. If it is pretty full though, if you have a fresh filter, remember the filter soaks up a bunch of fuel. So remember that was full and it was draining out of the bleeder. It might let a little bit squeeze out, but it's not going to be a big mess. Two-handed ratcheting.
And please use a 24 millimeter.
Yeah, don't use half-inch. Don't use half-inch drive. Okay. Now we'll kick it back on, and now we're going to check fuel pressure. Let's just do it right now. Go for it. Holy shit, man. 68 pounds. Okay, now we'll come back here.
I don't hear anything yet.
What's the gauge say? You will hear the return. Once it's all full, you'll hear the return. Well, I don't remember how much fuel's in it, but you will hear it coming out of here. Nothing yet. There it goes. You can hear the air.
Are you done with fuel?
Yeah, we're under 70 pounds. It's relaxing down a little bit. You can see the spring as air gets into the pump. Now we're down to 66 pounds. Yeah, it's let's take this off and look around all this, make sure that it's a good chance to check all these connections, check your banjos on the front. And really, it's a real good time to not have any oil in it and take the drain plug out and make sure your injector is all sealed up. But that's a real long test. That takes a long time to let it sit there and run. I mean, it looks like we're good to go. Just hovering over 65 pounds, under 70. I like the jump box. We're gonna use that from now on. Just push that in there. Look, it went good there. We're just, I like it. Now, since it seems like it's gotten all the air out and it's just running an endless loop of fuel, every now and then you get a little bit. But from there, we'll go ahead and kick it off and then just let it sit. Do not get I don't get in a hurry to unhook everything. Shut it off, let it sit. I mean, find something else real quick you can do, and then maybe 10 minutes later, come back and kick it back on again with everything all set up. And let's make sure it does the same thing twice. Yeah, I'm waiting on the lower radiator hose because the stabilizer is going to be here. Yeah, I know. I could go ahead and put the lower hose on, but that's all I'm going to do, and I don't want to. I'd rather go ahead and have it all gone, get the stabilizer on, then the hose, then the pulley, elbow, alternator. Well, after turbo. Shit, turbo. We just keep coming back to turbo. I'm just going to wait here until the turbo gets here. I have seen a lot of blue springs that gets screwed up and installed, or even not even screwed up and installed, just they don't seat right, or something's just not happy with it. So, I mean, I really feel anytime you touch that blue spring or anytime you touch the regulator, we need to at least double check in the conditions we're at. Now, you can't check it running down the road consuming fuel, but at least we can make sure that it's got the 60 pounds of pressure it needs. And check. When you put the oil filter on, you notice how it doesn't go down all the way? Like those little jumps right there. Okay, remember those jumps. Now, we're gonna fill this up with oil and all the way to the top, and then as the oil is draining out, when I get done filling it, it's a hurry up point right then. Fill it all the way up, and as the oil starts to drain down, take this filter and put it down in there and spin it on that. Because if you just try to push it down, you will splash oil out all over the freaking place. So spin it down real slow, and you can just keep the oil at the top level. And by the time you get down to the bottom, it should be done. Now that I explained it, let's just do it real quick. It's like a mad dash. Pour it fast, fast, fast. We want to fill it up. Because it's draining right now out of the drain valve over on the driver's side head. There's a hole in there in the block. Fill it all the way up. Set it down. Now, see, imagine how big of a mess you can make. So those little jumps that it's catching, you have to be careful with them and spin them down. You see the oil going, staying at the top? Now, pop it down and let's go. From there, we just get it. Okay, now we don't have to wait for that to completely fill up. It should be mostly full, and we'll build oil pressure faster. That's nice. Exhaust got to get done, the Y pipe, heat shield, all that stuff needs to be put on. And pretty much, I've done about all I want to do until, I mean, yeah, you could say I could go ahead and put some stuff on down here just a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and do the stabilizer, and then I can just carry on, not have to remember a bunch of crap. Because the stabilizer should be here tomorrow morning with the turbo on the same truck. Put some oil in it. Those manifolds might have pits in them, but they look good. They're surfaced. I do kind of just smear around sealant right there. I put it on the tube and then put it in and then just close the gap with my finger. It works. New lines on all the power steering. This is a balanced 10 over rebuild. Rotating assembly has been balanced. Fresh set of injectors. We're getting a new OE Garrett turbo. That's pretty much, and then everything else we do. Yeah, this had a cracked injector tip, and that's why we really opted to go for fresh injectors. The other injectors got subjected to the same condition that cracked one did, so. There's what I was talking about with the wire. The fuel line goes behind the heater core, and the engine harness goes behind the fuel line. Down through the little hole right there. Compressor, AC compressor. Yeah. Velcro gaskets. All right.
You don't want me to put half of the other one in?
I don't care. All right. That's it, end of the day. See you tomorrow with a turbo. We got a massive freaking problem. Brought us another turbo. Remember that one's broke on the bottom and it's cracked? But they charged us for this second one. They can kiss my, I'm so sick of these. Let's try this again and see if this one is any better.
So is it a casting error then? Well, at least we know this box wasn't dropped.
I mean, obviously they knew something's up because this one's ground off too. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to put it on and take a chance at that. It's going through the other side. Let's just take a quick look and see. What do you want to say about that? Sometimes it sucks paying attention. Okay, we got both turbos are not going on. We got them both sitting over there ready for the driver to pick up. We actually do not want either one of them. Let's go ahead and crack this open and make sure that it's the right one and I don't see any imperfection. The charge air cooler's messed up. I mean, the box looks old as son of a gun. Let's cut it open. I mean, is this going to be another one of them deals? Look at this. This does not look like factory sealed. It looks like it's already been opened. It's an all aluminum one. Wow. Okay, well, I'm fairly excited about that. Let's get it out of the box. Fairly well packaged. Yeah, it is fairly well packaged. Hopefully these flanges are okay. We got a lot of packaging on it. It's the backside. If a hole gets rubbed in it, I imagine that the radiator shop probably could fix it. I like to put the two hoses on right here and have the clamps on, coolant Y pipe and the lower radiator hose before putting this pulley on. That way the pulley is completely out of the way. I like to blue Loctite the coolant pump pulley bolts, and then I only want to put the Loctite on when the alternator's on so that I can tighten these bolts with blue Loctite in it. I've had coolant pump pulleys come loose before. Okay, the call was made. We're putting the turbo back on. Could not pull it off, could not get a new turbo. Now we can work on this exhaust. Honestly, we should be real freaking close. Okay, you get 3 guesses, and you get nothing if you guess correctly. What causes that? Does anybody know? Go ahead, guess in the comments what causes that. Turbo inlet pipe's on. Now I'll put the 90-degree coolant hose. I'll go to the back here in a minute, button up the front. Right there, you can go back and put your foot on the tailpipe and test it. You touch it right there and the noise goes away, then you know it's exhaust. I mean, sometimes it'll feel like a torque converter or flex plate, and it'll feel like all kinds of crap's going on with the truck. I cut some off of that so that now we have that much room between the transmission crossmember. Had to go way up. But look at the hanger. See how it goes down, touches the exhaust, and look where it lines up. Inside of the second turbo that I got has cracks inside.
So I'm just curious, what are you doing at this point?
Well, I'm trying to get this exhaust aligned up. Say I put it all back together like this, and I put it like that, right? It's going to be rubbing on the crossmember down there with where it's at. Now, let's say I raise it up where I want it to be, where I've got this welded for. This is going to be under such tension that the downpipe's going to fall off, and then we'll get the new turbo on, and it is going to be a pain in the butt to get it set back up. The downpipe should rest right there. It should want to be right there, not have to be pulled to it. It rests very, very close to it. You might have to just pull a little bit. That was fun. So much work goes into this. Ready to see how well we got the cab aligned. Power wash, move them around. They go in and out of the shop, and when we lower it down, we have to pay attention. So we got fan clutch, coolant pump, 10-over rebuild, balance rotating assembly. We did rod bushings, got some Manton push rods in it, put some valve shims under the springs, 15 thousandths valve spring shims. Exhaust is there. It was, I finally got all the bolts loosened up and just wiggled the whole damn thing around till it came somewhat close. Now we have pretty good space under there. Transmission service, transfer case service, S&B cab mounts, got some Bilstein shocks, surfaced the surfaces on the manifolds and the head for exhaust mating. Fuel pump was all gone through, already checked fuel pressure. We got about 68. Reused the glow plug wires and the glow plugs. We just put, well, I say just, but they were put in 2 years ago, and it'd be a crapshoot to go ahead and replace them when none of them were bad. You get about 4 glow plugs down, and this thing is gonna start rough. Did not replace the unison ring inside the turbo. The part from Ford right now is damn near $300. So we kind of opted that money would be better suited to be set aside for buying another turbo in the future. They're wanting almost double of what they used to want for unison ring. Yeah, I don't want to give them the business. Got our Y pipe on there, our intake. I mean, by far, this intake right here, I mean, this intake is far superior to anything else out there. This is an end-all repair right there. It is done. Just depends on how much you like keeping all the coolant in your system. Okay, remember, shop setting right here. This is, I feel that all the coolant hoses on a deal like this, if you disconnect a coolant hose, put a new freaking hose on it. Because if you put a new hose on it, that'll never freaking leak. It won't leak until, I mean, you almost have zero chance of these hoses leaking, these connections down here, until after they're taken off once. After you take them off once and put them back on, you just run the risk of little seeping leaks all over the place. If the truck gods allow, we'll never separate them again. They'll be on for a long, long time. Had one broken bolt in there, we put an insert. I don't even remember what side it was. Lower half of the block. Oh, what is that? Don't scratch your fancy freaking transmission pan tightening up the bolts. Joey, all new power steering lines. Put the old belt back on, it's good. That belt got so much life left in it, it's not even funny. As long as they don't squeak. Oil or coolant on the belt, very hard to make it quick squeaking. As long as all the pulleys stay good and we don't have any bearings go bad on pulleys, I've never seen a serpentine belt just break from regular service. So let's drop this table down. I'm gonna put the air compressor, get it mounted. Hopefully it's self-explanatory. I don't quite remember exactly how it was, but I bet we get it back fine. And here's how we actually prepare it. Just one bungee. Battery cable will lay over and transmission harness and main engine harness will go back and the grounds. Just put a lot of stuff down inside of here. And the AC, the brake lines, back to the AC. Well, I guess it depends on how long your bungee is. About even with the spring pocket would be pretty good. It's off the ground and we can push it over a little bit. Which this one was over a little bit. You can tell by where the witness mark of it was. This one, focus. Right there. The reveal on the back. Looks pretty freaking straight. And look at that hangover of the cab right there. And then come to this side and look at that hangover of the cab. When you get that all lined up, you're good. Obviously I cut them and left them right there. Memory is not serving me well for what it is, but as we start going, it'll come to us. Got the brakes hooked up, sector shaft, all the power steering. We got the reservoir back on. Yeah, take the reservoir off and clean it up. Oversized wrenches, that way it comes off very easily. Gotta go find a grommet that sits on those. This is a very good health inspection. That says, it's not pristine perfect, but definitely could be a lot worse. That coloring on it. Call that a stupid long 1/4 inch drive with a knuckle with a short weld. Even if the CAG tube is on, it's pretty much enough. You didn't even see me do it. There you go. You really want to be correct. To drill a hole in the bottom of this and then see how much oil's in it. Okay, you could either do that or just put an ounce in it. So that's just a hand tighten thing. You can just grab it, loosen it. I know it's got a hex on the bottom, but I feel a little better about the ones that were in the factory than the ones that the aftermarket company decides to put in here. Throw an ounce of oil in that. Plus you don't have to worry about scratching it. The grill is ridiculously easy to get off. So just get it out of the way. That way I can stand here and not worry about messing it all up. Don't take those off because very rarely do they actually go back on. Somewhere. There it is. 1 ounce. There you go. She went up to the barn. It's physically cold. So we got one that's not stretched all out, all crazy like that one. It's never a bad idea to go ahead and replace the high side Schrader valve. That's what it does. Little rubber seal right there. Let all your Freon go. It's time. Let's put this aluminum thing in here and let's see if it fits. The holding clip goes down. Well, it comes factory down. Yeah, it makes it a pain in the ass. You little bastard. So let's, no. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off. This is how you should fill your cooling system, especially after right there. Let's see. I'm off of it. This is leak checking right now. It looks pretty good to me. Holding strong. So now we just turn this valve right here and it sucks coolant in. Holy crap. Well, 5-second little break for a minute here. Look around. We're about ready.
Way high.
We'll pull the dipsticks out real quick while we do the first bump of the starter. First bump of the key. No Fickum relay. Okay, ICP, PSI, we're showing 12 volts. Here we go, bump the starter. Okay, ICP, PSI, we're showing 12 volts. Here we go, bump the starter. 10 volts, 85. No ICP, no oil pressure yet. Nothing. Not gonna go real freaking long, but yep, let's just leave that right there. I'm gonna leave the key on. Ready to shut it off. Still full, all wet. We'll make sure the transmission's got some on it. Power steering obviously hadn't dropped yet. Let's see if it's pulled it down. Nope, it's still full. And we would just let it sit here and run and frantically dump jugs in it, you know?
Yay.
Heated seat was on. Okay, here we go. Let it sit for a minute. Nothing there, let's just watch. Oh, low pressure oil, there we go. No ICP yet. Nothing. Goodness gracious, nothing. Oh, shows one when we stop. Give it a minute, here we go. There you go, now we're building. That edge does not update fast enough to like do any kind of diag with it at all. But right now, if you do not shut the key off, the IPR will not open. It'll stay closed and it'll hold the pressure in there. Like we got 32 pounds. Don't shut it off. Just leave the key on. I just want the starter to get a little break. We don't want to just wail on it all the way to hell. Here we go. Oh yeah, now the drag down. Now IPR drops. See IPR dropping? Yep, okay, we are primed. We're primed right there, so from that point, I shut the key off because we got a fresh set of injectors. So now we should have oil through all the galleys, and we pretty much just had enough pressure to fire up from the injectors, but now we'll put the relay in. So now with the key off, we'll go ahead and throw this sucker in, and I'll cap it up like we're having good faith here. Here we go. It sucked it down just by cranking it. Good deal. So I think at least two. But we'll dump one right now, I guess. I don't freaking know. Whatever. Just it's probably running it all over the place. We might want to look underneath here, make sure we don't have big puddles of crap under here. Not yet. Okay, are you ready? Let's just go over here, kick the key on. We got the relay in, but I'm gonna do the key a couple of times and let those new injectors chatter. Nice to let them chatter. I mean, they haven't been hooked up yet. So I shut the key off, let it sit for a minute. Go ahead and chatter them again. First time going, so fresh set injector is never a bad thing to go ahead and chatter a couple times. Okay, here we go. Firing up. Oh, come on, power. Here we go. Oh, I hear air. Check that oil filler too. I mean, good? Oh, I hear air from the freaking exhaust. Oh, I wonder where it's coming from. Now, from my hands up here, feel around the downpipe and the white light connection. Put your hands there. If there's a big leak, you'll see it. Come under here. Yep. Our connection is not sealed, obviously. Oh, EGT probe in. Here, let's see if we can't just right now. Hey, how about that? That sounds a lot better. Okay, I will tighten that here in a minute. Yeah, you can definitely hear it if your EGT sensor falls out, that's for sure. I was wrong, our connection right here looks great. Okay, let it get a little temperature. Ooh, what's going on there? Air. Just give it a minute, let it get used to running. Very, very reassuring to have forgotten the EGT sensor. Pressure is let's check transmission again. Always a good thing just to like stand and look underneath it. You know, make sure you didn't forget something and like you got a big issue going on. This thing will pump all the oil out real fast. Let it run a little bit. I'll wash it off in a little too. There's a lot of just oil from installation, put it together. That oil right there, that's the low point of the engine. So, you know, assembly oil from anything. I mean, as of right now, I love it. Just let it sit here and build a little temperature before I even blip the throttle. Oh. That air is freezing. Yeah. Oh, that AC is chilly. Okay, let's do it again. Oh yeah, it's balanced. You can feel it. Good. Nice. You never know. We never know until we actually put it together. There's like no little minuscule vibrations down here. It's like right there. Okay, this air, I'm about to shut it off. I'm freezing, but if we turn it on, I really like to, once we charge it, we got a condenser and a new orifice tube, accumulator. Really want to just let it run as long as possible off the first start. So that's, I really don't want to kick it off. Let all that circulate through, let it get used to running in this new environment. So let's take these lines off and get it going. All right. Battery volts are still a little low, but I've got the AC on full on going. See what happens if I turn the air down. Come on, go up. We're just gonna have to drive it and see. Because that's still showing the same power that it had before. Alright, the air's still blowing cold. I'm gonna let it run for another minute. No bubbles. Blow it off and cap them on. Cap them. Okay, so now we've got 12, we've got about 17 in it. We've got 17 quarts in it, in the transmission. It should be good. Now I'm gonna, it's all the way up. There's just a couple of the bubbles showing on the dipstick on the high side, so I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, I guess I can pump the brakes up. Look at the master cylinder and tell me if it's dry. I'm holding the pressure on it. Or the ABS.
Was it dry before?
No. Let it sit in reverse for a minute. Backup camera works. I'll just sit here and let it go through and engage in the gear. Maybe let it roll for just a fuzz. Then I'll go through third, second, and first, and then go back up real freaking slow. Transmission's just finicky. You gotta, I don't know exactly how much freaking fluid to put in them. Seems like they all take different amounts. I guess it depends on how much comes out. Just look at that. Right in the halfway of the sticks, 180 degrees. Couldn't ask for anything better. We're gonna go ahead and not add any more after that, and honestly, let's get it out on the road. Let's go drive it. Actually, I'm wrong, because let's shut it off. I haven't even shut it off yet. So shut it off, check the oil, check this, shut it off one time before we go, because I haven't even checked the oil since it fired. So let's make sure that's good first. Then we'll get out on the road. Okay, well, oh, there it is. Just went from 196 to 194. I wanted to, since it went all the way up to temperature, I want to let the thermostat open. Now we're sucking fluid out. There you go, dropping down. Pretty good with that. Let's fashion up that EGT wire and check the oil, and let's kill it right now. Here we go. Woo! Here we go. First move with fresh engine. Oh, squeal the tires right off the bat. Don't hit the Volvo. Oh, got a little power steering whine, but we just filled it. So, yeah, let's hopefully we can get rid of that. It's a pretty hard turn to do right off the bat. It's 174 degrees. Hear the whining. Okay, here we go. Okay, we don't need to hit a deer or something. We are in the country. Let's take it down the highway. Ready? Sucks he's got those dash lights out. They Here we go. Here we go. Get it. I'm not all the way in it. Not yet. Whoa. Caught a line in the road. That's the bummer about 373 gears is we get going too damn fast in order to build RPMs. Feels really good so far. Be not nice to the tires. We don't want to do that, at least so it's got some get up. Here we go. Ready? Okay. Freaking crash getting on the interstate. I hate this last curve right here, getting straight with the highway. I've seen crashes happen right there. People hammering on it, getting down, getting on the highway, and they hammer on the get-on ramp, and they don't anticipate that last curve to get in line with the highway and go shooting across the freaking highway. Let's get back to the shop now. I got about 10 miles. Just want to look for any obvious leaks, anything like that. Just take one quick look around. Frank is up in South Dakota, and his speed limit is 80. He's not even speeding yet. Okay. Let's get in here and take a look at it. Well, damn, it looks just like it did when we left it. Ah, that's beautiful. Do a little hillbilly head gasket test while the coolant is completely full. Let's look underneath, see if we got anything. No drips. Freaking, look, it's frosting up. Very nice. So now let's go put some miles on. Theory was that when the turbo is really hot and you shut it off when it's blazing hot, it will suck cold air in through the exhaust. After it's shut off, it'll pull cold air in, and you could screw stuff up by shutting it off too early. We'll shut it off, check the oil, and we still got 13.4 on the volts. You bastard. You bastard. Right there's another Super Duty service engine. All right, been a minute. Here, let's see if we're all primed up. Make sure you ain't got no hot, no start, nothing like that. Here we go. Okay. I always like to check that before we go taking off, venturing out. We got 25 miles on it now. Let's go. Okay, so I've been rolling at a pretty good click. Got 107 miles on it right now. Got 9 degrees on the oil cooler. Still pushing low voltage on the OBD though. See how high we get. I'm about to run into somebody though. 26. Letting her breathe every now and then, and then making her work. $159 miles, and we're here. About 150 miles. Just looking around myself for anything concerning. I didn't wash off the engine. you can't see in there. Oh, heck, we'll see it tomorrow. Just shut her off and... She did good. She brought us all the way here. 150 miles. I know all of the air pockets and the assembly oil. Any oil that's inside of anything from us putting things together is now in formed a ring up here above the degas bottle where you can't see. Now we're going to drop it down to the level. So we're going to do here. The expansion of the coolant just screws up the basic atmosphere inside the cooling system. So yeah, don't do that. We're going to make sure it's cold, drain it, cap it back off before we start it. As you go, she capped the top and we're draining into the bottom. I did notice that I need to move the bumper over. Look at that side. And look at that side. It needs to move over about maybe half an inch that way. Leaving it full at that first fire up causes it to have more coolant pressure than in normal operation. So what I see is that it actually presses out on all the seals and gaskets and every connection that there is for coolant. It presses on it when it's new. And I like to do that. See, we're dropping it down now. And when we drop that level down now, coolant doesn't compress, but air does. So the more air that you have in it, the less pressure you're gonna have in the system is what it comes down to. I think it's about 1 gallon. If you fill it all the way to the top, you should be able to get about 1 gallon out, and it puts it at about the perfect level. We just carried some coolant down to the seal. There's injector chatter. Let's get a cold start going on here. First fire up ever, cold stove, fresh rebuild. 10 over, balanced rotating assembly. Kind of chilly, you can tell by the injector chatter. It's pretty long. But it sounds good though, doesn't it? All right, hit it. Get the driving, and if it's uneventful, you'll see us at the shop. So it's the next day. It was too late. We do have a little bit of power steering wine. I use the back tool right here, and what we do is we put just a slight 10 inches of mercury vacuum on the power steering and then crank the wheel stop to stop. Power steering wines is the most, it's problematic. I don't have a cure for it. 486 miles on her. She fires up good. No leaks underneath. Get a little bit of temperature because we're about to change the oil. You know, I mean, it's unnerving when you got tens of thousands of freaking dollars wrapped up in a truck and we go to fire it up and I'm driving down the road. I mean, anything can happen. You know, truck gods come down and tell me it's time to pay some dues. And he hasn't done that. We got 500 miles on it. The truck gods ain't came and say it's time to pay dues yet. So I'm very thankful for that. All right, guys, Frank's here. He's here. We are delivering the truck.
Okay, Anthony and Frank are gonna go on a drive.
First time Frank ever turned the key.
6 months. 6 months.
Hey, it started!
It's in like shape.
If I go for a ride, I replaced the little thing here too. Yep. Well, let's see the first acceleration that he does. Oh, it's gonna be dirty on the tires though. It's too cold to hit it. It's all right. We'll just drive it a little bit. Let him get a little feel for it. I did reset the keep alive memory. I took the battery, disconnected the battery, so there is no transmission learned right now. It's only how Frank drives it.
Okay, so Frank brought us this.
What is going on here? What is this? It's packaged like. What do you got?
I did. I had a plan.
Hey,
I was gonna
I like the screws. Can I keep these?
Menards.
I use these.
Menards.
You want to take it back? We always need something. We always want to hang something, don't we? What? Okay. Wait, take it off? What's going on?
Frank's looking a little mischievous.
I haven't looked yet.
Come on. Let's go.
Look at. Oh.
Oh wow, that is awesome.
That'll work, huh?
Holy shit. Okay, Anthony's not speechless very often. I think he's speechless. Frank, you made him speechless.
He talks too damn much anyway.
That is
Yeah,
badass.
there's little holes in here so you can hang it from chain.
You said work stuff. Yeah. He said this is work stuff. I said, what's going on with this box here? He said, is that the way? You played it off too, like it's staying in the truck.
Look real sharp, Clark. Look real nice.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man.
That is freaking
He said
amazing.
it shouldn't rust. I mean, he said
Well, hell no, it ain't
he
going outside.
I mean, it's all coated, you know, but
It does get a little humid in here, though. We've seen rust on some
my
stuff.
God. Thank you.
I figured you'd like that.
Yeah, a
man.
shitload.
Yeah, man.
That's absolutely phenomenal.
Now you have to think about where you want to put it.
Yeah, there you go.
There he goes. Frank's truck is done. Throwing rocks off of it. Oh yeah, he can't go that fast. There's too many rocks and mud. Well, there she goes. She's like sending a kid off to college. She's all done. 10 over rebuild, push rods, balance rotating assembly, all that stuff we did. And now it's just taillights. See you later, old girl. Oh my God, he gave us that sign. That sign is amazing. I got to find something to do with that sign where we're going to hang it at, but that is freaking awesome. That's just very, very cool. Like, got big feet on it.